What three books are most worth reading for someone interested in the scientific method and its limitations?
What?
Number one, Novum Organum by Francis Bacon, in which he kind of sets the stage for this new branch of inquiry. Number two, and probably the most accessible, is A Guide for the Perplexed, not by Moses Maimonides, the medieval Jewish legal scholar and theologian, whose work by that title Leo Strauss calls esoteric, whose meaning is kind of secret for the initiated. But I mean a work by that same title by E.F. Schumacher, who was a student of John Maynard Keynes, an economist, but who later in his life wrote a book on science and religion, kind of a strange synthesis of topics, in which he talks about a lot of interesting types of thinkers that I've not really seen mentioned elsewhere. And I found that book in a kind of a strange way. He was an example usage in the Oxford English Dictionary, and the example usage sentence was so interesting, I thought I had to read one of his books, and it was well worthwhile. Have not heard the book mentioned anywhere else. Number three is The Metaphysical Foundations of Modern Science by Edwin Arthur Burt. He talks about the sort of pre-Baconian founders of modern science, Kepler, Copernicus, etc., and talks about what they believed. It may have been Kepler that was kind of a sun worshiper, but he talks about how much other beliefs and views shaped their approach to science. And I think in the case of Copernicus, it's most clear. He discovered that the Earth was not the center of the universe, but that it in fact revolved around the sun, not by any empirical evidence, not by any evidence of his senses, but by the fact that you could explain planetary motion that way by a simpler mathematical model, and that was enough. Burt also does a great job of talking about how these great thinkers like Newton have their works not fully understood by more popularizers, people like Thomas Hobbes, and so the sort of larger reading public is misled by their interpreters, and if they just went to the source, they would understand that that's actually not what they're being said, i.e. that the universe is wholly explained by a sort of mechanistic model. Of course, Newton wrote the book on chronology and clearly had many other beliefs other than those of his physics.